Protecting your peace starts with understanding that your inner state is your most valuable asset. If your mind is cluttered, your decisions are compromised. If your energy is scattered, your impact is diluted. Silence, as we've already talked about, isn't about absence, it's about presence. When you stay silent, when you stop engaging in every argument, when you no longer feel the need to respond to every opinion or defend your journey, you reclaim your energy. And that reclamation, that's where clarity, confidence, and emotional control live. Philosophers like Epictetus taught that freedom is the ability to choose your response, but you can't choose wisely if your peace is constantly being hijacked. You have to get to a point where not everything gets a reaction. Not every comment needs a comeback. Not every trigger deserves your attention. The moment you recognize that some things are better left unengaged, you elevate. You're no longer playing defense, you're playing strategy. From a psychological perspective, this is about emotional regulation. It's about moving from reactivity to sovereignty. When your nervous system is constantly overstimulated, your ability to make grounded decisions goes out the window. But when you create environments, both internal and external, that are rooted in calm, you give yourself the space to think clearly, to act intentionally, to stay connected to your vision. And here's what you'll notice. When you protect your peace, you start seeing what's been costing you. The relationships that drain you, the conversations that go nowhere, the habits that keep you in cycles you swore you'd outgrow. You become ruthlessly honest about what's actually serving your growth versus what's just keeping you busy or emotionally entangled. And from that space of honesty, you can begin to rebuild with better boundaries, stronger self-respect, and a renewed commitment to your higher self. This doesn't mean you disconnect from the world. It means you interact with the world from a centered place. You become unshakable, not because chaos disappears, but because you're no longer available to it in the same way. You've chosen peace as your baseline, not passivity, but power expressed through stillness. So here's your moment of truth. What are you still giving energy to that no longer deserves a seat at your table? Everything around you is a mirror. Your relationships, your environment, your results, they're all reflecting the state of your inner world. The mistake most people make is trying to change the mirror without changing the person standing in front of it. They push harder, complain louder, manipulate circumstances, hoping that something out there will finally fall into place. But the truth is simple. The world responds differently when you do. You shift your energy and suddenly people treat you differently. You raise your standards and the old patterns can't survive. You stop chasing, you start healing. You learn to protect your peace. And what happens? Reality begins to reorganize itself around that new version of you, not instantly, not without resistance, but inevitably, because you've become different and life has no choice but to reflect that back. This is more than mindset, it's embodiment. It's not about thinking positively and hoping for the best. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts the kind of life they want to live. When you work on your habits, your beliefs, your emotional regulation, you are literally altering your neurological patterns. You're rewiring how you see yourself and what you believe is possible. And when that changes, everything else follows. There's a deep psychological principle at play here called self-concept theory. Your self-concept is the internal blueprint you hold about who you are, what you deserve, and what you're capable of. You will always act in accordance with that blueprint. You'll self-sabotage if something good exceeds it. You'll settle if something familiar aligns with it, even if it's toxic. So when you evolve your self-concept, when you raise your internal image, your behaviors shift, your boundaries shift, your entire frequency shifts, and as a result, your outcomes begin to align with your elevated identity. This is also why silence and focus are so essential, because they give you the space to hear your own voice clearly, to update that internal blueprint without the interference of other people's expectations. It's not about isolating forever. It's about refining who you are before reintroducing yourself to the world. Philosophically, this touches on the idea of congruence. When your inner world and outer world are aligned, you feel powerful, you feel calm. You're not in resistance, you're not forcing. You're flowing, not because life is perfect, but because you are centered. You know who you are, you know what you value, and because of that, you move with clarity and purpose. This is what we mean when we say everything falls into place. Doesn't mean life gets easy. It means you stop being the thing in your own way. You stop living in contradiction. You become the version of yourself that life responds to differently because you've aligned your thoughts, your actions, your energy, and your standards with who you're here to be. So ask yourself with radical honesty, if life is just reflecting me back to myself, what is it trying to show me right now?